I was in a conference in Germany over the weekend, and President Putin of Germany gave one of the old Cold War-style speeches as he addressed the conference there.
As far as this Salt Lake City thing, he's a Mormon, and the Mormons of Salt Lake City had caused that scandal. And to clean that up, it's not even, again, it's not a subject.
Thanks for the question, you little jerk.
Here's a guy, basically, what does he say? The jobs are never coming back, the illegals are never going home, but we're going to have a lot more war.
It's unacceptable, and I got to give you some straight talk, my friends. It's a tough war we're in. It's not going to be over right away. There's going to be other wars. I'm sorry to tell you, there's going to be other wars. We will never surrender, but there will be other wars.
Could I just make a comment? I'm not interested in trading with Al-Qaeda. All they want to trade is burqas. I don't want to travel with them. They like one-way tickets. I met with a high-ranking former Al-Qaeda operative in Iraq recently.
Like the senator, he thinks we should be there for 100 years if necessary. How can he commit the young people of this world 5 more generations to be in Iraq if it's necessary? I say it's time to come home.
Senator McCain, you got...
President Bush has talked about our staying in Iraq for 50 years.
Maybe 100.
We are getting into a tar baby of enormous proportions. That's where you ought to catch up on things, Wolf. General Petraeus goes out there almost every day in an unarmed Humvee.
Well, I'd certainly like to bring Senator McCain up to speed if he ever gives me the opportunity. And if I have any difficulty hearing you right now, Wolf, that's because of the helicopters circling overhead and the gun battle that is blazing away just a few blocks down the road. That there's any neighbourhood in this city where an American can walk freely is beyond ludicrous. I'd love Senator McCain to tell me where that neighbourhood is, and he and I can go for a stroll.
I had something really picked out for you, too. It's a nice...
Did you really?
Yeah, it's a nice little IED to put onto your desk.
That's very lovely of you.
Imagine a presidential candidate make a joke about IEDs when these kids are blown apart. It's outrageous. That individual owes an apology to every troop that serves in Iraq.
Go to the American people and say, I'd be all right with having U.S. troops in Iraq for the next 100 years.
Most importantly, so would the American people.
In an AP military survey that shows the U.S. Army's 38 combat brigades now stretched to the limit by the surge, the report says that after 6 years of war, the military is left with only few painful choices after this spring. Shorter leave times at home, the use of more National Guard troops, or breaking a pledge to keep soldiers in Iraq longer than 15 months, something top commanders are loath to do.
We used to support Saddam Hussein, and we used to be allied with Osama bin Laden, and what I want to do is stop that. Who are our friends one day turn out to be our enemies. Right now, we finally got rid of Saddam Hussein, and what are we doing now? We're rearming the Sunnis, the old henchmen of Saddam Hussein, and what are they going to do with it? There's all those weapons we're giving the Sunnis in Baghdad. So look out. Believe me, that war is not over.
She and John McCain are very close. They always laugh that if they wound up being the nominees of their party, it would be the most civilized election in American history, and they're afraid they'd put the voters to sleep.
Well, Neil, I think McCain has done more to hurt the Republican Party than any elected official I know of.
Else, because it grieves me so much that we have not told the American people how tough and difficult this task would be. And it has contributed enormously to the frustration that Americans feel today, because they were led to believe that this would be some kind of a day at the beach. And I believe that the success will be fairly easy.
Go back, Senator, to 2002, the administration saying we'd be greeted as liberators.
There's no doubt in my mind, once these people are gone, that we will be welcomed as liberators.
I believe that we can win an overwhelming victory in a very short period of time. We're not going to get into house-to-house fighting in Baghdad.
People to cause difficulties in house-to-house fighting. We've just seen that in southern Iraq. Number one issue that is in the selection, that people should make a selection of the President of the United States, is will this person carry on in the Judeo-Christian principled tradition that has made this nation the greatest experiment in the history of mankind. This nation was founded primarily on Christian principles. It's just, I prefer someone who I know was a solid grounding in my faith. I just feel that my faith is probably a better spiritual guidance, of better spiritual guidance. I just feel that that's an important part of our qualifications to lead.
That old Beach Boys song, Bomberan. Bom, bom, bom.
Bum, 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 bomberan. Bum, 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 bomberan. Bum, 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 bomberan. You got me hiding in my bunker, crying for my children, bomberan. Bum, 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 bomberan. Bomberan, bomberan.